Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome back to English with Aisha Siddiqui. I hope you all are fit and healthy. You all are taking all precautions from the virus. Today's lecture is on the English subject for Bachelors of Arts students. For Bachelors of Arts students, the English subject is really vast, and there are various categories of books in English subject. So it is known as one English subjects, but there are various categories. So one is the optional English. This book that I'm referring for optional English, it's written here optional English CBSE pattern for the first year students. Then when you'll go to the second year, this is the second year special English book. It's also known as additional English, special English, SY. And the cover page is this: Mirage, an anthropology of English poetry. That means this book is all about poetries, an introduction of poetry, the whole history of poetry, and also all different poetries with great poets in it. So we will be discussing in detail about this book. First, I want to also show you another book, that is the general English book for the second years as well. It's the linguistics, an introduction to linguistics, and in this there is all about linguistics, that is phonetics, phonology, morphology. Now this book's introduction I will be giving in the next coming lecture, and I will be showing all the contents of this, the semester 3 and semester 4, what is the portion also. But today we will not be talking about the linguistics, we will be talking about the special English book. Special English for the second year BA students, semester 3 and 4. So for special English semester 3 portion, I am just going to share my screen, and this page that is over here, maybe you all cannot see it clearly. That is why I'm putting it on the screen, and I'm displaying what will be the portion for semester 3 of special English students for the second year BA. And what is it about, and I will also in detail explain you all what all you all will be learning for semester 3. Okay, let's move forward. So this slide that you all can see on top is the same thing over here in the first page over here, semester 3 portion. So you all can see the contents of semester 3. The first thing is introduction, the theory of poetry. This is the most important thing. Even before we start with the poetry, the introduction is the most important part in it. The introduction of poetry is what you will learn. How is poetry written? What are the different kinds of poetry? The different elements of poetry. I will like to read out from here what all can be done in the first, that is the introduction of poetry. So the first thing is the different kinds of poetry. For example, narrative, dramatic. We will go ahead with the other, I mean, in detail about all these things later on. But now, let me just tell you all what all contents are there. Then, technical elements of the poetry. What elements are required to write a poetry? Then, poetry over ages, from long time, what type of poetries have been coming: ancient poetries, medieval poetries, renaissance poetries, all the different kinds of poetries from ages. Then ahead is through the eye of the poet. That means from the poet's view, how poetries are written, how much time is required to write a poetry. Then more devices, like means figurative speech, figures of speech required in the poetry, that is oxymoron, simile, alliteration, all of these things are there. then why chorus, rhyme scheme, all about poetry, what type of different rhymes are there in a poetry, that means exact rhyme, approximate rhyme, masculine and feminine rhyme. These all we'll be covering in the introduction itself. Then what is dramatic poetry, irony, why irony is used in it, historical poetries, all the historical poetries are there, why is epic and all written. So this all comes into the introduction part, that is the theory of poetry. If you all can see on the screen, all this is covered in the introduction. But it is very important, as when we are starting to learn something, its introduction is the most important. You should know why we are learning it, and then later on we will move on to the first poetry, that is Nightingale, the Nightingale or Philomela. So I will explain what all, how is the process that we will be learning in the coming videos. So if you go to each and every poetry, I'll just show you about the first poetry, that is Nightingale. The similarly, all the other poetries are also there. In the starting of the poetry, about the poet is written, what all about the poet, the history of poet, why did he write, and from when he was born till when he died, all his history is written in it. It is very important because any poetry that you are learning, you should know about the poet and also why he wrote it, right? So suppose for the first one, Sir Philip Sidney has written it. So Sir Philip Sidney, when he was born till when he died, how did he come into poetry, what type of poetries he wrote, what type of elements was in his poetry, this all is explained in the first part. Then it's explained about the poem. So whatever poem he's written, suppose the Nightingale, so Sir Philip Sidney has written Nightingale. Why did he write about, why did he write that poem, what is the idea of the poetry, why, what are we going to learn from that poetry. And then comes the poetry part, and later on there is a glossary. If you can see here, glossary is there, words from the poetry that are required. All of this will be discussed once we start doing the poetries. Then there is a comprehensive question bank. At the end of each poem, there is a question bank. We will be discussing the question answers as well, and critical analysis, that means big answers from the poetry, how to form answers from the poetry. So let's see the portion. These all things are covered in each of them, about the poet, about the poem, small question answers and analysis, critical analysis. All of this is covered in this book. For semester 3, I will read out what are the poems that are going to come. There are 6 poems, and the first one is The Nightingale or Philomela, written by Sir Philip Sidney. The second one is Sonnet 3. There was another sonnet that we have done in the first year for the first year students from this book, optional English book. Sonnets are done in it. So introduction of sonnet is already done. For the ones who does not know about sonnet, you all can go to the optional English lectures and see sonnets and introduction of sonnet. Then Sonnet 3, written by William Shakespeare. The third poetry is The Sun Rising by John Donne. Then London by William Blake. Ode on a Grecian Urn by John Keats. To a Skylark by Percy by Billish Shelley. So these are the 6 poetries that you all will be getting in semester 3, along with the introduction of poetries. Do not skip the introduction of poetries, as most of the questions and marks will be relating to the introduction as well. I hope you are understood what all poetries are going to come for semester 3. And we will be covering all the semester 3 poetries, that is the 6 poetries, in the coming videos. Stay tuned. with us on the channel and be following and keep watching the videos of special English for the second year students. If you all want to know about the poetries, the discussion about the poets, about the poems, and also if you all require question answers, it will be given in the video itself. The discussion of question answers will be there so that it will become easier for you all to form the question answers, frame the answers of the poems, because it's really tough to frame answers from the poetry lines. To frame answers from a chapter is really easy. From a story, it's really easy. But from a poetry line, it is little tougher to frame question answers. I mean, to frame answers. So all this discussion will also be done in the coming videos, wherein all the six poetries of semester 3 will be taught. If you want to refer them, please give a subscription to the channel and keep following the special English videos. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you all understood the portion of semester 3 and stay tuned. Thank you.